The Really Big Mess. Written, illustrated, and performed by Nutnïg Spillkitz. It is worth noting that there are some adult themes in this book, such as profanity, crude humor, and death. In a house by the bay, where the sea lions play, lived a group of 8 boys, who made quite a lot of noise. There were 4 piggies, oink, 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 and there were 4 monkeys, ooh, 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 and they all got along, until something went wrong. Rahul was a monkey who was hairy and chunky. He was smart and advanced, but he never wore pants. Joe was a piggy who was constantly eating. He sure eats a lot, but you should see how much he's excreting. Max was a monkey who was always out of money. He quit his last job to be a full-time slob. Brian was a piggy who was always too busy. He'd work and he'd work till he hurt. Manu, too, was a monkey with a prehensile tail and toes, but he looks a little different because he's from Ohio. Carlo was a piggy who looked super cool. He'd break school rules and mess around with tools, and when he was done with his ton of funny fun, he'd run and he'd run from everyone. Arjun was a mini little itty-bitty piggy who would take every chance to go party and dance. Aditya was king of the monkeys, though he never changed his undies, and he slept on a mountain of clothes he didn't fold. But for one of the piggies, the house was too filthy. "This house is a mess," Brian professed. "The rust and the dust is just disgusting. Rotting food everywhere and the poo on the stairs. Mold and old mildew of black, blue, and green. I don't understand why you can't just clean." The other monkeys and piggies began whispering between them, asking each other what must be the problem. "I wonder what could be causing this friction. I guess he is stressed with the messy condition. He's worried it's dirty, too dirty to live in? Yes, don't you see, this is bad for our health. I went to the doctor. She said so herself. There's a fungus among us, and I have had it. The situation is sad. We need to break these bad habits. We can all work together to clean our home. It goes by much faster if we don't work alone. So let's mop up the floors and scrape off the plaque. We'll put things where they belong and..."
Did Brian just die? What the fuck? Why? Talk to me, buddy. It'll all be alright.
Not one of the remaining 7 would forget that night. No matter how hard they tried, it would still fill them with fright. But about a month after his death, there was a knock-knock on the door, and Carlo was met with a familiar bore.
"Brian, is that you?"
"Hello, Carlo. How do you do?" The monkeys and piggies whooped and hollered, for a friend they thought had surely been slaughtered. "Yes, yes, 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 I doctored my death so you'd clean your mess. And look at you go, not a thing out of place. If I didn't know, I'd say there was always clean space." The monkeys and piggies were clearly still shook, but they would forever remember the moral of this book. When things get bad and there's no time for mercy, sometimes, to get things cleaned up, you have to play dirty. The end. Internet.